this is Quake 2. And that's the status. Old game. I have this on Xbox. Oh, look at down here. Old game, man. This goes back to 1997, 90. Is this Quake? This is Quake 2, so that would be like 1998. I mean, that's just a few years ago, you know, not that long, right? Actually, it is now. You're old. I love playing some of these old games. Oh, I'm stuck. I remember I had moved to Utah in 1996, and I always thought they were saying Utah, you know, Utah. Like, okay. I always thought that was funny. Utah. Shotgun. Now there's a little crack in that floor. You see that? We're gonna open that crack up. There he goes. No way. Oh, there it goes. I thought that would do it. First of all, before we do that, let's go over here. All right. Get down there first. It's a little on the dark side. Brightness, yeah, let's amp that up a little bit. Apply, that's better. Big old fan up there. Scratch my nose. That's where it came from. Oh, here we go. They kind of glow with that much brightness, like. So let's take that down a bit. What is this? Multi-sampling on? Yeah. Let's amp it up. Auto scale, that's good. A little darker. I'm seeing a little video chop, so we'll take that down a little bit. Maybe that's not a good idea. Turn it off. Turn it off. We got VSync on, so that's good. Oh no, it's the same one. If we turn VSync off, we probably won't get those lines. It may not even be coming through on video. Oh, that's fine. The Strog, that's what I'm fighting. I'm fighting the Strog. I always like the sound of those little shield shards. This was I think the first game that I got going on my home network. And I had friends over and we'd play this game and it was fun. What? Oh, you're shooting at me over there? Okay, well, come over there and shoot at you. Whoa. Yeah, the AI isn't all that good in the game. Look at this. That's like a street sweeper. I'll never forget, I met this guy. He was the lieutenant governor of Illinois. Went to his office. And he was doing a gun control bill. And he had a street sweeper. This thing that just fully loaded with shotgun shells. I mean, it wasn't loaded. But he was just had it as an example. And that was a strange job. I worked for the state of Illinois. I didn't like working there. And I don't know. I just wasn't used to being around guns, I guess. So I walk in and he's got this street sweeper. You either like your job or we're gonna kill you. The guy actually went to jail. He went to jail for when he was Secretary of State. He pulled some favors for some people, and this trucker who was drunk driving, he got him off the hook. You know, good old boy network. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, computer update. There we go. Establish communication link. Hold on. We got a guy over here. Where'd he go? He's over there. Yeah, so that whole time period of the late 80s was... Oh, George Ryan, that was his name. Jeez. So, yeah, that was a good old boy network. That my dad was part of, and George Ryan was a local guy somewhere close to Kankakee. Real piece of shit. Anyway, that trucker wound up, I think it was running a red light and took out a family in a minivan, an entire family.
EOD confirms
he eventually went to jail for it. And he just got out of jail right before the pandemic. But I couldn't get out of that place quicker. And it's funny, my dad, pulled some strings to get me a job at the Department of Public Health. And he didn't say anything to me. So I go to the interview, and I kind of had an idea that he was trying to pull some strings to get me hired. In other words, the interview wasn't whether or not they wanted to hire me. The interview was just a formality. I was already hired, but I didn't like it, and I worked with this guy named Bernie, and he was very against nepotism. And even though it was nepotism, everybody at Department of Public Health that was a political job. Everybody got there because of politics, because they were in the right party, and the right party at that time was the Republicans. And so what happened was I would get these envelopes on my desk, and they were tickets that I had to pay $50 for these tickets to go to this Republican party. It was a party. That's what it was. And this guy named Pat Tavine, big fat son of a bitch, apparently he was either putting it there on my desk, or he probably had somebody just put it there. So he had a little cute long-haired girlfriend. Pat Tavine had a tricked out Jeep. Everybody hated him. He was a piece of shit. And but everybody got their job there because they knew somebody. And I'm like, so when they called me and they offered me the job,
Marines, we're at 5% ground force operation.
I said, "Is this because of my father?" And they said no, because I thought my father would have had something to do with it, because I wanted to get a job based on my own merits, and I wasn't a very good interviewer to begin with. So my dad wouldn't spend any time with me. Nothing. He just... So I would go in to his office, and I would, use a little tape recorder. This is late 80s, 88. And I'd record myself, because I wanted to, in an interview situation. I didn't have a camera. So it wasn't like I could do much as far as improving upon my interview, because I would listen to myself, because I wanted to hear how I sounded. And I was always very nervous. Little did I know that I had anxiety. And anxiety ran in the family. Of course, nobody talks about that. They don't talk about their health in our family. So you're just, going through life hitting walls and finding stuff out.
5% ground force operational status.
So I find that, I've got this anxiety during the during interviews. So I was never very good at that point in time on interviewing. So I did get the job. It got me a start, but I got out of there after 1 year, 3 months. And I went to the only state agency that wasn't political. And the only state agency that wasn't political because they couldn't afford to be political was Illinois State Police. Because we dealt with, I worked on systems like NCIC, the National Crime Information, NCIS. And that was an old assembler-based programming language they used was assembler. So I had to maintain that. And I had, of course, an assembler in, school, but luckily they didn't make any much changes at all. So it wasn't a hard system. I just had to, know how to use it, basically.
Marines, we're at 5% ground force operational status.
So they, hey, go. Alright, there we go. Took care of that little problem. So, anyway, so these tickets, they keep piling up while I was at IDPH, and I didn't know what the hell they were. Honestly, I had no idea what they were, and I'm not spending $50. I'm making $19,000 a year working a programmer analyst 1 job. And how am I going to afford $50 a month?
Heavy fortification near enemy comm
That's
facility.
$600 a year.
Computer updated. Computer updated.
Okay, locate communication center. So I was like, how am I going to, I had to pay I went to grad school at night and I worked during the day. Gained a whole bunch of weight. Go. Ugh, I'm dying, man. I'm dying. Alright. I want the machine gun. So anyway, I got called over to Pat Cavine's office. And he lived there was 2 buildings for IDPH, and I had to go to that other building. And I figured out he had something to do with it all, based on what people would talk about. They didn't like him, I kind of understood where they were coming from. And I took all those out because he wanted to talk to me because I was supposed to, maybe I was supposed to RSVP. I don't know. But I never paid. They wanted the money, basically. And I wasn't going to pay him. And I don't remember what I did. I think I got some cash. And I took the tickets, and I went into his office, and I just threw the tickets at him. And, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Why am I suffocating? Oh, because rebreather, yes. There. Okay, I'm breathing now. Here we go. A secret area. Come on. Get me up here. There. Alright, good. Ooh. That looks like a good gun, man. Now the question is, how the hell do I get out of here? I don't have that breather anymore. I got 90 health. And I don't want to use... I want to use that. Okay. Okay, wish me luck here. Here it goes. So I was really, really pissed. And I called up my dad. He says, you're on your own. Because he wasn't... he didn't talk about what he had done. That he had actually gotten me this job. He had never said anything. And that, oh yeah, I went down to the director of IT. This guy named... what was his name? He'd just sleep at his desk all day. I swear. I mean, it got to be a joke. He would, they would talk about it, and he had his door closed, and you saw him facing his computer. And he'd be sleeping, and people would, laugh, and they'd point it out. I forgot his name right on top of my head. I could think of it. So down here. Oh! That gave me some shivers. So, Loftus, John Loftus, that was his name. This was 1989, 88, 89. John Loftus. And I said, did I get this job legitimately? And they said, no, they didn't like me. And that hurt. That really hurt, the fact that I found out they didn't like me. And oh, I guess I shouldn't have blown those things up, should I? Here, let's do this. Let's do a save game. There. Alright. That was quad damage, what I just did. So, I was pissed. And John, I had a bunch of complaints, like having to work with Bernie. Bernie was a dick. God, he was a dick. And John Loftus says he won't be here forever, is what he told me. And just bad memories of all that. Oh! Oh! Beat me. Alright. So...
Copy that, Recon 1-0. Keep those paths down.
Oh, now we're talking. So anyway, I interviewed for the one job for Illinois State Police, and I got the job. And I was a programmer analyst too, so I got a promotion out of it. I mean, I liked it. A lot of people over at UPH, that was dumb. But the guy that I had to work closest with, Bernie, was just an asshole. Just a real... And everybody knew that. They knew he was an asshole. So... But I just God, lucky me, huh? But anyway... I'm sorry for myself. So, my dad's yelling at me, and he's...
All squad leaders coordinate with Sister Teeps.
Tell me I'm on my own. All this crap. Which I was fine. I had my own apartment and I was paying my own bills. I didn't... On my own. Of course I'm on my own. Jeez. Certainly don't get any help from you. I mean, meaning conversation, meaning information. Even just talking about women. I mean, he was always so bashful when it came to anything to do with women and sex, and just didn't want to talk about it. Like, get angry at me for asking questions. And then to boot, so I get my own job. Oh, dang it, I'm fucked up. So, they're very controlling. He was a very controlling man. He wanted to control me. So, come time I need to get a car, and I'm looking at Nissan. You know, what was it, Sentra? Hey. But he wants me to get a job over at David Bruce. And he got angry, yelled at me over the phone. You're going to buy a GM car. Blah, 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 blah. So I would go home and help him at his office, his secretaries, with their software. And I sold them a PC that I had. And I was... They would just... I was there. I was supposed to buy a car. And... went back home. I was supposed to buy a car, but I was helping the ladies out at his office until close. So I didn't have time to even go over to David Bruce and look at the job. And not look at the car, excuse me. Oh. Ouch. So I wind up just buying it sight unseen. And they're like, they're buddies of my dad, so I figured, okay, I'll trust them, right? So I buy this car for about 10 grand. It was a demo, 10,500, and I'm driving it down to Springfield, and the front tires are just like rapid firing, going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I didn't know what the hell was wrong with it. So I went and to have somebody look at it. What had happened was I've always thought that was really cool.
Established. Computer updated.
Okay, use blue key card to enter alien bunker installation. I always thought that was cool, seeing that outside of the environment here. Doing something to affect something on the outside. But I thought that was so cool back in the day. So he, I call up David Bruce, I tell him what happened, and they said, well, we didn't make much money on that, so they weren't going to help me out. So I wound up paying like, I don't know what it was, $1,000 extra to get new shock absorbers put in. And then a couple years later, the car's paint job was defective, and I had to bring it in for warranty work. It would peel off, so GM fucked up with how they were painting these cars. And if you ever look at old Grand Dams from back in the 90s, and the ones that didn't have the warranty work, all the paint's gone on them. It's a pretty disgusting look, actually. So, alright, so now we're going to go out there. That's right, we're going. We're going out here. Ooh. So, I mean, he would call me at work and yell at me. At the same time, my mother and him were having trouble with their marriage. Go figure, right? All right, so let's go to machine gun. I got some bullets there. Okay, let's get some more. 200, maxed it out. So my mother would call. Okay, primary unit objective complete. Locate unit exit. Kill all resistance. So they have all this trouble, and I'm trying to help them with their marriage. It was very hard. I got depression out of that whole thing. But, I don't know where I'm going with that. But, oh yeah, because he would call me just, you're gonna buy a GM car. Just anger, wanted to control me again. This was all about control. Gotta control me. He died in 2017, so. All right, here we go. Now, save. This switch was in the previous level, and I was over there, and I was shooting a guy over here, and that there's really no way to get to this switch except exit that level. Show up here. Wish I had a little laser on this thing.
5% ground force operational status.
So I eventually did buy a GM car, and I had the warranty work on it, and I had to spend extra money on it, and it really put me under, and I wound up, leaving Springfield after I finished my grad school classes. As soon as I could get out of there, I got out of there. And I got a job working at Analyst International Corporation. I went through 7 interviews, 4 in Chicago, 3 in Indianapolis. I got the job in Indianapolis. And I got that job. I mean, it was amazing how many interviews I had to go through. So I felt like I earned it, you know what I mean? I really felt good about myself at that point. Felt like I had grown quite a bit. Become independent, But boy, guy, that GM car, I had to buy that GM car. I had to pay for my job at IUPH. And, when your own dad's telling you, yelling at you, you're on your own. I mean, it does scare you. It gives you, I had anxiety issues.
5% ground force operational status.
And I'm trying to deal with depression and anxiety. And meanwhile, their marriage, it didn't really get fixed. They just decided that they weren't going to get divorced because it would be harder to learn to live with somebody. That's what my dad said anyway. So anyway, my mom almost lost her cash cow with that. Ouch, that hurt. Ooh, here we go. So, anyway, just controlling. I eventually did finish my master's degree after I lost 50 pounds. Got into doing triathlons and biathlons. I had the guy that I worked out with, Jerry, and I paid, it was $10 for a half hour with him. And that's how I started working out, was with Jerry. And it was so cheap to have that. I think it was $10 an hour or a half hour. I forgot what it was. But you'd get a workout with him. A workout with him was hard. And I wasn't really that much of an athlete. Whoa! Look at how no, let's do this. Oh, dead. All right. So anyway, that's a little bit of history. Just glad I got out of there. That's all I gotta say.